Welcome back to the AB Scale Project. I'm Krieger, and this is off Bravo, and today we've got a really big show here. We've got a box, and inside of that box is another box, and inside the other box is the box that we actually wanted to see. So this is the Leo Kaiser box, and it's look really cool. You got the Transformers Legacy up here. You got a nice big cartoon Leo Kaiser. You've got all the breast force down there. You got Transformers Victory, Leo Kaiser. So pretty cool. This side, you got product shots of the bots and their vehicle modes. On this side, you got Leo Kaiser in his different modes and Death Cobra down there. This side, you got cartoons of the robot modes. Up top, you got more Leo Kaiser. On bottom, yet more Leo Kaiser and the legal. So pretty cool. And on the inside of the box, you do have the small boxes like we saw with Omega Prime. There was no plastic straps keeping them in, so you can totally pack everything back in the way it came. So that's pretty cool. I've already unloaded everything, so I'm not going to take it out of the box. So let's go to the contents. All right, we're going to do things a little bit different because we got a bunch of bots. We're going to start with the accessories. So first is the stand. Looks pretty cool. It comes in 3 separate pieces here. You get 3 of these stands. So you can stick them in here so that you can separate this out and have stands for the individual bots. So that's pretty cool. You got a couple slot options, so you can put them in the front, the back, whatever. You get this extra adapter for when they're in combined mode, you put it on. I'll show that at the end of the video. That's the stand. You also get all the components of the electric nunchaku, and it basically comes with 6 of these little spiky wheels, 6 of these staves that I'm gonna lose, 6 spear heads. That way you can just stick that on and give each of the robots a little weapon, and then 5 of these. Now officially the nunchaku only has 4 segments, but you can put all 6 segments together if you want a super one. And it's basically you assemble those by sliding that onto there, stick that spearhead on, and put the chain link here, and then attach that to the next link, and so on. So that's the accessories. Let's go ahead and get into the bots. First off, we got Drill Horn, and he looks pretty cool. And with all these, they started with the G1 and then added articulation like they want to do with the new line. So you see he's still got a lot of chunkiness left over from the G1. But not too bad. Head is on a ball joint. Looks up pretty well. Nothing down. Really stiff. Arms. Stiff rotation here. That's pretty easy. That stays back. He has his wrist swivel, elbow, and rotating wrist. So that's pretty cool. Has a waist. Leg out, forward, back, twist. The ankle tilt is just in the foot. So just a little bit of ankle tilt in the foot. So no true ankle tilt through all of it. So yeah, he is kind of a chunky boy. And as you can see, he's a little bit taller than your par standard Combiner Wars here. We'll go ahead and bring in the previous drill horn from Combiner Wars. Turn it down so you can see him. You see he's actually taller than the Brawl mode was, and definitely more tall than the Alpha Bravo. And you know this was Brawl, but this is definitely a new character with drill horn. So definitely an improvement. I'm not going to go bot by bot. We're going to do the final determination at the end. So we're just going to talk about each one as we go. And we got his little breast animal, which has got his little winged rhino here. Flip that out there so that you can see his winged rhino. And then of course they're all on ball joints there, so you get a little bit of articulation on them. And you can fold all that back up, Flip out these tabs, put the head down, and he's got his blaster. And it has a little 3mm nub, so you can put some blast effects on it. But it really does leave his chest cavity just gaping, so it's better to just plug them back in. And there is 4 slots here, and then 4 tabs on the arms, which are hard to align, plus the 5mm socket in here. And you have to get all that to align just perfectly to get it back in. And that's pretty much the story with both the leg features, with the leg guys. So let's go ahead and look at his drill tank mode. And here's Drill Horn in his drill tank mode. And I think this is where he really shines. I think he looks pretty cool with all the apps there. Pretty neat. They did a little bit of highlight there, so it's not just the bottom of the Kaiser's toes that you're looking at. And it comes together pretty well. Like I said, very chunky like the original G1. And you definitely tell that's a robot underneath there. Breast animal can stay stowed down there. There's no extra combat ports to put him if you wanted to take him out. This does spin because this is a separate 5mm peg. So, yeah. So, pretty cool. Bring in the Combiner Wars. And you see much better. Much more streamlined. This was just a tank that they threw a drill on. Much, much better. Alright. Let's go on the next one. Next up is Killbison, and they did cheap out a little bit because pretty much the transformation articulation is all the same. The only difference is that his treads don't flip out of the way. Otherwise, everything's the same. On the back, instead of flip over drill horn, he's got the remnants of his tank and this big honking gun that you pretty much need to take off for anything you want to do with them. But it holds in there pretty firmly, and it's pretty nice. We'll take a look at his breast animal, his little winged bull. And again, ball joints for these legs. And there's the winged bull. I guess you could flip out the gun for a tail if you wanted to. And again, he turns into a gun like he did before. But again, because of the gaping hole in his chest, it's just better served to leave it in there. And again, 4 tabs, 5mm peg. Good luck getting to all align correctly. I got lucky with drill horn. Flip that up just a little bit. Of course, this one will fight me the whole way. Which is funny, was when I was first, getting him out, playing with him. Drill horn was actually the easy one. Or actually, Killbison was the easy one. Drill horn gave me fits. There you go. There he is, back together, and he looks just a lot better with the breast animal in place. That head sculpt is pretty wicked. I like that. Alright, comparison to Combiner Wars. And same old again, because we got Brawl again. The head is a lot better here. This is actually a little bit closer to what he looked like in IDW, but this was the body you wanted for him, because this is just Brawl. I mean, they didn't even put the drill horn on him. It's Brawl. Okay. Let's check out his tank mode. And here's Killbison in his tank mode. I mean, you can't really tell if he's coming or going. I mean, you can turn this around. He could be going that way. Official mode is supposed to be this way. Again, very chunky, very square. Pretty cool. You can keep the breast animal there the whole time. Yeah. Get him to snap together there. These do come off as separate weapons, should you choose to use those somewhere else. And then, of course, this whole thing can come off. You can have just kind of a chassis there. But yeah, it does roll, and that's one thing I say. Instead of the newer trend where they have treads and no wheels, they actually did put wheels on these guys. So that is good. You did get a little bit of your money's worth there. Bring out Brawl again. The Combiner Wars Killbison. You see this straight up tank. This is more like the G1. So you get a unique character. So yeah. Not a whole lot to say. These leg guys are definitely chunky boys. Alright, let's go on to the next one. gone from legs to arms. So first one we're looking at is Hellbat. Looks pretty cool. Get a good look at that face sculpt. Looks pretty neat. He does have his breast animal bat face in the way. Head's on a ball joint. Not much looking up and down, but he can go around. Arms kind of stiff, but do have some pretty good range of motion. They kind of stop right there. Has the elbow, has a rotation, has a wrist swivel. Has a waist, again, kibble in the way. Keep that bat in there. Because he doesn't have a gaping hole like the leg guys did, he's only held on by a 5mm peg, so he keeps popping up as I'm trying to do all this stuff. Anyway, leg out, forward, back. There's a knee. Again, just the toe is the tilt. And the good thing is he does look fine without the breast animal. So these guys you can totally not have it on and use them in their weapons mode and it'll look okay. So again, we'll flip out this guy. And he looks fine with it in weapon mode. He doesn't have just gaping chest. Does have tons of kibble. Again, because they just started at G1 and went on from there. A little bit taller than Alpha Bravo. Bat animal, very simplified. That's it. So, but we can flip that back. Put his chest back on. And that's the Hellbat. Still looks pretty cool. Bring in the Combiner Wars. And we see the skydive mold before. Get that locked in, maybe. Okay. You can see where they try to get a bunch of the color cues to transfer. But this is definitely more the animation look. And of course more articulated. And it's his own mold. So yeah. Not a whole lot more to say. Alright, let's check out the jet mode. And here's Hellbat in his Delta Wing Tornado mode. It looks pretty good. The intakes are a little far out because they just kind of squish together the robot mode underneath there. He does have a long landing gear here to make him sit kind of pretty even. Yeah, breast animal can stay on the whole time like the rest of them. These you can probably turn, a little bit. Yeah, we'll just leave them there. And this is kind of cool. The fists are integrated, just like the feet are integrated with the tank guys. And they put the jet engine on the side of the fist, so that's pretty cool. It also gives you a cue on where you stick the fist when you transform them. So overall, not too bad. I think this is pretty cool. I think they did a good job with it. Bring in Combiner Wars, which was just the skydive mold. And you can see all the differences there. Take Alpha back, give these guys a spin. Definitely a lot more thought put into the new molds. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. Not much more to say about Hellbat. I really like this mode. So this jet's pretty cool. Alright, on the next one. Next up is Guyhawk, and he's pretty much the same as Hellbat. Yeah, pretty much everything's the same except for the head and the breast animal and the nose and wings of the aircraft mode. But otherwise, everything you see here is the same as Hellbat. So all the same articulation. Only the breast animal is different. He's hold on a little bit better. Flip those out, flip those wings out, and you get his hawk here. So pretty cool. Again, because you don't have a gaping chest, he does look alright with his animal used as a gun. If you can get it to stay in his hand. Alright, we've got to flip that over. Alright. So yeah, there he is with his gun. Breast animal as a gun. But again, we'll just stick it back up there. And be cool. Bring in the Combiner Wars with the air raid mold. And you can see they added black to them for some reason for Combiner Wars, which I think kind of set off some of the other colors. And you can see lots of gibble on both of them. So yeah. Not a whole lot extra to say, so let's go ahead and check out the jet mode. And here we have Guyhawk in his jet mode, and again, very reminiscent of Hellbat, especially with those intakes sticking out right there, because that's all the same stuff. The stuff on here is different, so you get more of a larger winged F-15. I'm sure this is another aircraft that I'm not familiar with, or just can't name right now. But yeah, landing gear, all the robot stuff, chest animals there, a lot of the same. Bring in the air raid, or the Combiner Wars Guyhawk. You see how much they changed. So, yeah. Not a whole lot to say. We'll give them a spin. And then we will just call it good. So, let's go on to the third arm. Yes, he has 3 arms. Alright, going on to the next one. And making his toy debut is Death Cobra. And this, if you wanted him in Combiner Wars, you pretty much had to take the Vortex Alpha Bravo mold and customize him. But here he is, the first time we get the Death Cobra mold. Now, the legs and feet are the same as the other 2 arms. So no surprise there. Still stiff up here, plenty of articulation around here. Again, they all had risks. They were all on ball joints on the inside, so that the hands could come in. Ton of kibble. Nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about that. He just has tons of kibble. This is also a detachable gun he can use if he wants to use that as a gun, or you can just leave it there for helicopter mode. Take that off. You can flip the head out here. Flip the handle out here, actually that's the muzzle, out here, and you have his snake companion, his Cobra companion. And then you can change it out here to have his gun. So yeah, flip that gun barrel back up. Besides the kibble, he's not too bad, but man, that is just so much kibble. Pretty much all the helicopter mode just hanging off the back. He is probably the least impressive of the set, honestly. In comparison, here's Alpha Bravo. That's best I got. Alright, let's go to helicopter mode. Okay, so remember when I said he was the least impressive of the group? This is supposed to be a Russian Hind helicopter. Yeah, the least said about his vehicle mode, his helicopter mode, the better. Not very impressive in the least. But hey, we got Death Cobra now. We'll bring in the KO Alpha Bravo so you can see a size comparison between the 2. But man, yeah, this is rough. This is rough. The helicopter blades spin great. That's the best thing I think I have to say about it. Let's just go on to the torso, guys. And here we got Jaguar, or just Jaguar. And Leo Kaiser's pants. Just because if they made this part of the robot mode, he would be huge. And just so you can keep him in line with the rest of them, they just gave him accessory pants. So, not too bad. A little bit of kibble, like I said, left over from G1 Vestigial. Not too bad. He's actually probably the most solid of the group. Again, ball joint on the head. Looks up, a little bit. The head sculpt actually is pretty cool. Arms pretty much do everything. Yeah. Even has wrist, waist, knees. I mean, he's got everything. He has a true ankle tilt. Extreme ankle tilt. So, articulation-wise, he is the most solid. He does suffer from the gaping chest wound if you take his animal out. You can transform his animal into the winged Jaguar. You put that out of his tail. So, get the last leg out of there. There you go. And again, ball joints on everything. And there's the winged Jaguar breast animal. And again, put all this back the way it was. Put that up, trade that in, and you get his gun, which you can just stick in his hand there. This kind of little snub nose in his hand there. But again, because of the gaping chest wound, he just looks so much better with it inserted. This one does not have the tabs that the leg guys had. So it's just a matter of getting that 5mm peg to go home, and he is set. So not bad at all. Now, there was no Combiner Wars Jaguar before, so I made a custom, and I thought he looked pretty good. And I think he stands up still pretty well with the Swindle mold and Swindle repaint. There's still some Swindle peeking out. But yeah, I think he worked out. I think he looked pretty well. Spin those guys around. A little less kibble on the new one, on the Combiner Wars, but overall, not bad. Alright, let's check out the Doom Buggy mode. And here's the Doom Buggy mode, and he looks pretty cool like this. Really good sound on the wheels. So pretty cool. And if you left him like this, he'd be perfect, I think. But you do have the pants that you can just knocking everything around. Stick the pants up there, take this wheels and double up his wheels down here. And he's a mega missile dune buggy, if you so choose. But I do not. I reject, because this is cool as it is. Simplified transformation, very simplified, but effective. Again, patterning after G1. So here is the Combiner Wars. Give them a spin. See comparison. Overall, not too bad. And honestly, like I said, I think he's the strongest of the batch. I mean, this is the most satisfying out of the set. You know, just forget about the pants. All right, let's go on to the last member of the team. And last up, we got Leozac, the leader of the Breast Force. And he's got some kibble off his legs, kibble off his back. He just got kibble everywhere. Again, the G1 converted into a posable figure. Head sculpt is pretty cool. On a ball joint. Has some movement that really doesn't get out of the way, so he'll still hit kibble there. Rotation, rotation, rotation. All this stuff. More rotation there. Knee. Again, just the toe is the ankle tilt, but you can super extreme. Yeah, he's a moderate. I still think Death Cobra's worse, but he's not too close behind. So, yeah, you saw the kibble there. So, in comparison, we'll bring out our current Leozac, which is the BotCon. And yeah, definitely two different worlds coming from, I think this was Energon, Starscream to current engineering. So yeah, big difference there, different in colors. The good thing is I don't have to get rid of the BotCon because this can be Leozac, so you can have, you know, husband and wife there. So yeah, very different. It was more awkward when they shared a mold. All right, we'll check out the breast animal here. And pop him up. And again, ball joint legs. This guy is a bit stiffer than the rest for some reason. Man, a lot stiffer. Anyway, there we go. There is the lion there. Let's just see the winged lion animal. And again, you can flick out the gun port as his tail. Yeah. It's almost like it's a Leo Breaker. Or not Leo Breaker. Anyway, I'm getting a little tired. All right. We'll flip that all in, flip this back out, flip these legs back in. He doesn't have a gaping chest. He just has kind of a protrusions out there, so he's okay without it. It's just a very bare chest. But I'd just rather just keep the breast animal on there for appearance sake. All right. Let's check out his jet mode. And finally, we've got Leozac in his aircraft mode, and man, this is the laziest transformation. Flip it over, here's all the robot mode. I mean, that's the whole robot. He just kind of just slimmed up. These plates came up, the kibble folded in, and that's about it. Probably, like I said, the laziest transformation of all of them. And he's like an aardvark type of thing, swept wing aircraft. So, pretty cool. Obviously, much bigger than the F-22 Energon. This would be by comparison. So yeah, that's not even the same ballpark. Then like the wing sweep. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, he's got landing gear. Not much else to say about it. Yeah. In the head, you kind of just hide there, and you've got these little covers there that you think would cover him up. That's more really just hide it from the side. So, yep. Nothing much else to say about it. So, let's get to the exciting part. Let's get to the combined mode. For the first combined mode, we got the default mode with Death Cobra as the arm before, Hellbat killed him. Then you can see he looks pretty good. Turn him around here, get all these guns situated. And see the spots for all your breast animals. They can mostly stay on the breasts of most of the people. So yeah, pretty neat. Articulation wise, head is on a ball joint. Looks up pretty well. Not much looking down because he has a chin. But yeah, not too bad. For the arms, you kind of got to move that out of the way to realize all the articulation. And the waist breaks over on these guys to get your bicep flex. Do you have a wrist? Do you have a hand and fingers? These are tied together. This one is independent, so you can get the point. But yeah, put that back. Don't think he has a waist. Nope, no waist. Flip that up. Legs goes back. Let's go forward. With some good clacking. Low clacking on the knees. And just a little bit. I guess we can go all the way to past extreme ankle tilt on him. You know, that whole assembly, much better than the individual bot modes. But yeah, that is the basic mode. Kind of put that down. And really, you're looking at it and you're going, that's not the right way to do it. So we just come over here, we pop Death Cobra off. Put Hellbat on. And that's the proper way he's supposed to look. Get that wing back in place. So yeah. And he does also come with his lightning nunchaku here. And I'll put this in the next shot. But he comes, the default is 4 segments. He does come with 6 segments and 2 extra chains and all the extra ends so that they can all have a spear in their robot mode. So, yep, plenty of stuff with the nunchaku. We'll show that in the next scene. But yeah, there we go. There's Leo Kaiser, and I think it looks pretty good. We're going to wait until we get to the ultimate configuration before we do some size comparisons. So, let's get on to the ultimate configuration. Quick injection before we go to the ultimate or final configuration. I realized I didn't show you the head sculpt. And the head sculpt on him looks really good in combined mode. I think that's pretty awesome. And we'll just go ahead and get a pan on the full thing so you get up close and personal with him. Again, I think he looks really good. Alright, let's get to the final configuration. And here we have Leo Kaiser in his official final mode with Death Cobra as a shoulder cannon with all the breast animals as attached to it to show their ultimate power. We got his lightning nunchaku out here. And the nunchaku, you can... The easiest way to put him into the hand is actually to take the head off and, stick it through the hand. But anyway, gotta turn around, looking around here. You can see the hind sticking out over here. And... yeah, so this is the official final form, how you can get everything on him. And yeah, and he fits on the flight stand just fine, which I'm going to show here in a little bit. But this is the official final form. So this is where we're going to go to do our size comparisons. All right, let's get him a little bit better. All right, let's do some comparisons. First up, we'll do the Superion here. And you can see he's right in line with our new Age of the Primes combiners. So that's good. He sets in just fine. So that's pretty cool. Bring in Victory Saber here. With the... Just keep the blade in. With my DNA add-on kit on him. Just so you can see how he looks next to Victory Saber. So that's pretty good. Just a little bit taller. I think that works pretty well for the anime. Got a lot to go through here, so move some stuff out of the way. All right. And next up we'll do Deathsaurus. Right next to the Haslab Deathsaurus, so just a little bit taller than Deathsaurus. So pretty cool. And we'll bring in the Dino King. And the Fans Project Dino King is still a little bit shorter, but I think it still works with the whole Victory shelf. So, and besides, you're not really going to find anything bigger. So, but I think the size works pretty well. And last but not least, bring in the Leo Kaiser that I kind of customized his mode so that the treads were on the inside. And you see, yeah, vast improvement over the Combiner Wars version. So, especially the fact that you had a Skylynx in Deathsaurus colors as the, not really Deathsaurus colors, kind of a, yeah, more Leozac with Deathsaurus and Jaguar overtones. Yeah, just call it that. So, is this our new IDW G1 Leo Kaiser? Yes, because he looks just like the anime, like the IDW comics. And this was just, hey, we've got these molds. We'll kind of make them look like Leo Kaiser. And this definitely succeeded. This is definitely Leo Kaiser. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. And that's it for the day. Overall, really happy with him. I think it's a really good Haslab investment here. A little clunky on the individual bots, but the full combiner, I actually enjoy. So, thanks for joining us today on the AB Scale Project. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, and I'll see y'all later.